Hey everybody, welcome to your Game Awards 2020 prediction special.
Hi, I'm Rose.
As you can see, I'm trapped in the virtual world over here.
Hey, it's John, and here are my 3 predictions for the Game Award.
Tim here with my predictions for the Game Awards.
The rules as follows are quite simple. Basically, each member of the Playhouse team will share 3 of their predictions, that's what they think will happen at the Game Awards. This can be anything from announcements to trailers to returns to what colour suit Jeff Keighley's wearing that night. You know, it could be anything, literally anything. So my number 1 prediction is Joseph Fares will be there to show off Hazelight's next project, It Takes Two, which we know about, with a new gameplay trailer. The project will be released in the first half of 2021. It is important to note that Fares will be reading a pre-rehearsed script via Zoom interview with Jeff. This will still somehow go off the rails, forcing the technicians to hang up the call.
Joseph Fares, whoever that is.
Okay, can you swear here? Can you swear? Okay. Fuck the Oscars, you know? Fuck the Oscars! Fuck you!
This could most certainly happen. I could see it.
I really feel like the moment from 2018 Game Awards, I feel like Jeff really loves that moment.
I can see that. I can see Keighley having planned something like that, acknowledging the press that even a tiny little bit of misbehavior could generate in a positive light for the Game Awards. So I think Keighley might actually do it for the memes.
Yeah, I see him. He's the one that will kind of drop the F-bomb on everyone like he did before.
It'll go off the rails and Jeff will allow it up to a certain point, but once he starts to get uncomfortable, he will just... This will be like the only year he'll be able to have that big red eject button and just like go nope and...
Fares or Fares or Fares?
Fuck you!
John, stop laughing at me.
Number 1. Yes, we're going to get a Final Fantasy 16 release date. I think that game is well along enough, so I actually want to see what date it's going to be. I'm actually really excited for that one.
Final Fantasy 16 release date. Really?
We will not see anything for Final Fantasy 16 here, period. Just because Yoshi P has said we are not getting anything more for the game till 2021.
Oh, John's a man after my own heart with these. I'm not going to say it's going to happen at the Game Awards, but there is a Square Enix production timeline set for 2021, but I could only hope that there's going to be a release date announced this early.
As far as I know, they like to have their own event, although obviously that's not possible this year, so it very well could happen.
I think that Reggie Fils-Aimé is going to announce that he's actually coming out of retirement so that he can work year-round with Jeff Keighley and do things for the Game Awards, extend Summer of Gaming to Year of Gaming, or maybe we have summer, winter, spring, fall. We have all the gaming.
As far as I know, Reggie's still CEO or something of GameStop. Was he?
Look, if Reggie's going to come out of retirement for anything, I hope it's to collaborate with Jeff.
Oh, okay, he's in the board of directors. Reggie started a podcast?
From everything that I have seen in recent years since his retirement from his position at Nintendo, Reggie has been a massive voice for doing like public speaking for games. I think it's super interesting that he's like going to colleges and talking to like students and kids and whatnot about the industry and the ins and outs of it. And I think that him and Jeff Keighley both have different interesting perspectives on the way things operate within the industry.
That would certainly be a thing. He's definitely capable of presenting. No one's doubting that. He's very lovable. But I think his expertise is in marketing and business on that side of it. So I don't know.
I think that would be awesome to have 2 people that I think are massive proponents of just all the positive effects of gaming working together. That'd be awesome.
I mean, we could all use more Reggie Fils-Aimé in our lives, so I kind of dig that.
I think we're going to see Final Fantasy VII Remake here in some way, shape, or form. Like a PC release, the removal of exclusivity, to Sony, that kind of stuff. I don't think there's a good chance of seeing part 2. If we saw part 2, that'd be kind of insane.
I think we're both on the same page on that one. I think we're probably going to get something from Squeenix. I like saying it that way now. I thought maybe Final Fantasy Part 2 in some way, but I think we might get more 16 before we get Final Fantasy Part 2.
If they did 16 and 7 on the same night, that'd be wild.
Part 2's a little bit of the ways off.
I'm sorry, hint or first look at part 2. Very spicy though, Tim. I approve of the spiciness. I like that.
But that remake enhancement, yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it. First up for me, I know they're going to be having an event later in 2021, but Square Enix, I'm hoping they will show the next trailer for the Final Fantasy XIV expansion. Don't know what it's going to be called, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Safe, but I dig it. I'm with you.
Keith, what is it with all the Square Enix this year, guys?
Into this in a year where Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 released and where we got the announcement for Final Fantasy 16. So I don't think too many people are actually super concerned with Final Fantasy 14, at least as far as the wider public perception goes.
This is now 3 predictions relating to Square Enix and Final Fantasy. 3 different games. There's definitely some Final Fantasy fever among the Playhouse group for this Game Awards. We gotta get something. Jeff will interview an augmented reality video game character while standing next to them. It might be Waluigi. They will high five.
Damn it. Okay.
So what you're saying is that Jeff Keighley's gonna cross over with a video game VTuber.
With the power of VTubers and everything in this whole virtual reality section, I can see it happening.
I don't know about Waluigi. I don't know. I feel like Nintendo doesn't really get a ton of representation at the Game Awards. They get a decent amount, but I don't know that it would be a Nintendo character. I think it's more likely to be an Xbox character. Maybe Master Chief. Maybe that's how they're going to actually announce when Halo Infinite is coming out.
Number 2, Nintendo shows off Breath of the Wild 2 and surprises everyone with a new Mario game. We know Zelda is at its 35th anniversary next year, and Mario's is 35 this year, and it's time for a new Mario and Zelda game. I just want it. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I can see it happening.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 is a distinct possibility. I think that game's coming out in 2021, and so Game Awards would be the perfect spell for that.
I don't see Nintendo doing this at the Game Award. I see them saving things like that for one of their directs. But a little spicy. I approve.
I also know that there's been some talk in the past of Nintendo having philosophies of not showing games, at the very least within E3, if not within that year, if they're not going to be releasing the game at that point.
Mario game, I'm less sure about, but very well could happen also.
My second prediction is that all of the Xbox news are going to be announced by Muppets, but instead of having actual real Muppets right there, they're going to be rendered by the power of the Xbox Series X.
So you're okay. So why have Muppets in Unreal Engine? This is so bizarre to me, Rose.
I think I think with Muppets, we're just getting Muppets. Just because it's not a Muppet unless it's a puppet.
They're digital Muppets? Okay, all right, I'm good with that.
The joy of the Muppets is that they're all... What? Or will they be... Will it be like a Nintendo thing? Will it be like a Phil Spencer Muppet? Or but he's still rendered by the... So why wouldn't they...
We already had the PlayStation 5 rendering that announcement. So what's to say that the power of the Xbox Series X isn't going to render some Muppets to announce things? Let them be rendered.
Will they have a Muppet for each individual game? Or will they have a Hellblade Muppet? A Hellblade Muppet seems super wrong vibes. How would you even make a Forza Muppet? Would you make a talking car? Or you could make an Elder Scrolls Muppet, I guess, but even then.
I also think that we'll see Riot show up here. I think we're going to see Riot show up since last year they did show up to show off Ruined King and Convergence. We know they are cooking up just a ton of different projects, from RPGs to fighting games to platformers. So we know that Riot has a lot of stuff in the works.
I definitely think this could fit into the show well, purely because I think the nominations for this year's fighting game categories are pretty weak.
Yeah, a League of Legends fighting game does sound good. Let's hope we do get an announcement for it.
It's a good place to put it. So yeah, absolutely.
I feel like the fighting game community needs some love at the Game Awards. They need a reason to be excited, and maybe this is it.
We, as the Playhouse, has been reacting to a lot of stuff this year. Biggest portion of that was actually the Summer Game Awards. And I'm hoping that Jeff Keighley announces that he's going to be doing a replacement to E3.
Whew, that's probably the spiciest one I've seen yet, because the implications of that.
That is something I'm completely on board with. I don't think it's any stretch to say that 2020 has changed things, and I think it's changed them pretty permanently.
Because we know Summer Games Fest wasn't just a replacement for E3 in the time of the pandemic. Jeff had already backed out of E3 and E3 Coliseum long before we knew how bad the pandemic was going to be and how E3 was going to be cancelled. That's purely because Jeff had disagreements. He wanted the industry to be pulled together as one big thing, and he didn't think E3 was doing that anymore.
They didn't want to deal with it anymore. We already had people splitting off from E3 anyways and doing their own conferences, even if it was all during E3 week and whatnot next to the convention center.
I don't think that Jeff would actually try and replace E3 just yet, but I think that he is going to do another Summer of Gaming.
Does he want to do Summer Games Fest Part 2? I kind of hope so, because that doesn't stop E3 from doing their thing either. It just makes them less of a giant player. It doesn't mean everyone has to focus their thing on E3. E3 can still be part of the giant Games Fest umbrella.
I think he did a good job with what he was given, and I'm good with it.
And the number 3 prediction, this is my big gun for the evening. Crash Bandicoot, quite simply, will be announced as the next DLC character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I think Finn just wants to see that happen because of our bets. Oh, we'll see.
Part of me doesn't want this to happen, believe it or not. I always imagine that when this moment happened, you know, like half of the fun of a Smash DLC announcement is that you get the crowd reaction, right? You get the crowd reaction at the thing, at the event, whether it's the Game Awards or E3 or whatever, and you also get, you know, those videos inside the Nintendo store in New York, and you get people freaking the hell out. But I think that it's been enough time since Steve that they might be willing to announce a new character.
If we were seeing a Smash character here at the Game Awards, I mean, we would have heard something about it. Like, the Smash community never shuts up about character announcement.
Finn, we've gone over this. Crash is 100% going to be the next Smash character. If not the next, the one after that. He's going to be there. His legacy is spread too far and wide for him not to be a DLC character.
I'm reasonably confident now that it is Crash Bandicoot. I don't think Sakurai will let me down. I think he wants Crash in the game. I think he recognizes him as an iconic character. And, you know, Nintendo don't seem to be having their, you know, they definitely haven't had their E3 direct. They've been doing these mini directs. And it doesn't look like they're going to have their own holiday show. So any big bombs they have to drop will be at the Game Awards. You can bet on that. So I think the time is right. It could happen. Part of me hopes it doesn't, but if it does, I'll still freak out. You'll still see my reactions on twitch.tv/PlayhouseLive.
Finn, we're done. We're not friends anymore. I don't want to stream Crash for 12 hours. Nope. Mm-mm.
And then number 3 is my crazy one. It's not going to happen, but I just like the idea that Jeff Keighley announces that he is starting his own indie game publisher.
Ooh, that would be really fun. I'd love to see what Jeff Keighley would head up.
Oh, Jeff. Would it be considered indie game if Jeff himself is doing it?
That would be super interesting. Has there been any sort of like celebrity branded publishing unit yet?
I feel like if he had a publisher, maybe that would mean like people would be less willing to partner with him because it seemed like an advertisement for his thing rather than just a general celebration of the industry as a whole.
My third prediction, this is my super spicy prediction. Third prediction is the crossover event that the internet was begging for back at the beginning of this year. They had to go back and marinate on it and figure out how to make it happen, but it's finally happening. So what happens is we get this trailer, and it starts off, Isabelle is at her desk like she's doing the daily announcements. And then all of a sudden she just says, oh, we have a very special announcement for everyone, but in her Animal Crossing speech. And then she just stands up from her desk, walks out of town hall, and as she's walking out, she puts on her helmet and grabs her gun. She walks out, there's Doom Guy. He grabs her hand, takes her through a portal to Doom Island. It turns into a first-person shooter, Doom style. So this is DLC that is coming to both Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons next year.
I would spend so much money if that actually happened. I would freaking love to see Isabelle actually in Doom in some way, shape, or form. That was the highlight of 2020.
He still obviously has to use a shooting mechanic to navigate the world, which makes me question that level. Would you be shooting the villagers? Would that be what you're doing? What else could you possibly shoot? Or does Doom Guy have to learn to love and build and not just destroy everything he sees?
Look, as much as I want this to happen with all the super special memes and crossover art of Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, I hope it happens. Let it happen. Get those devs collaborating with each other.
There is enough influence that memes have on developers at this point that would probably not be the most surprising thing that I could see at the Game Awards. The last of my 3 predictions is I think we might see something from CD Projekt Red, just simply because this is going to be on the release day for Cyberpunk. And we know about the Edge Runner anime collaboration that they were going to be doing with Studio Trigger.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot that was announced. Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah, that'd be great.
I like this. This is a nice, spicy rumor. Not a chance it'll happen, but I approve of the spiciness here.
We know that some of the names that are on this production team, both in and outside of Trigger, are pretty big names in at least the anime industry, if not the games industry. So I think they're really going to want to start pushing at least some promotional content for this game. I don't think there's a better stage at the moment to do it on than the Game Awards.
It comes out on that day, and the people who have review codes, they won't have finished it. This game is the full thing is hundreds of hours long, so I don't know if you want to jump the gun that quickly. I feel like people need to figure out what Cyberpunk is before they get excited about a multiplayer expansion of that. Cyberpunk will want their presence known. They'll want to advertise on the night, much like Smash Bros did in 2018. And so I think something like this Edge Runner anime could be very, very good for them.
And lastly, what is a game awards without a big celebrity coming out? I'm saying Kojima. Hideo Kojima himself comes out. Everyone's going to freak out, and he's just going to turn around and leave. There's not going to be an announcement. No new game. No, he's going to be making a movie. Just that.
All right. Yeah, I actually would really, really dig that if that was just each there, stands up, takes a deep breath in, and then walks away.
I do feel like there's now an expectation when Jeff Keighley has an event that Kojima will show up in some fashion and they'll just chat and shoot the shit.
They don't make a particularly big deal about it. They don't have him go up on stage just to be Kojima alone on stage. He'll be up there with Jeff, or he'll be in the front row or something, and they'll pan over him, and it'll get a really big crowd reaction, and everyone will love it.
If the rumors that I think are happening are going to happen regarding old Kojima properties, then that would be a massive reason for Kojima to come out, and everyone would definitely freak out.
But I could also see the no announcement part. I am still not confident that we're going to see any of those rumors about Silent Hill or Metal Gear Solid games.
No announcement. Ooh, the spiciness. I love this one. Yeah, I could see Kojima messing with everybody's heads like that.
Alright, so that's our predictions for the Game Awards 2020. If any of this excites you, we will be reacting live to the Game Awards on twitch.tv/Playhouse Live the moment they happen. So go and follow us over there. We'll be reacting to all the big announcements, all the big trailers, and all of the awards given out. And we will be discussing our thoughts immediately afterwards on that same Twitch channel. So be sure to catch us live, and it's time to get hyped.
For the Game Awards this year, 2020, Year from Hell.
Worlds will be changed. Bandicoots will be risen.
I'd like to thank everybody from the virtual world, listening to my predictions and the whole entire Playhouse crew's predictions. See you at the Game Awards.
Great. I'm excited to see what happens.
Get your tux ready, because it's time for an award show.